machine! I am a war machine!
Last in my collection of how to paint books in the series, until I buy more books on how to paint stuff, is the Foundry Miniatures Painting and Modeling Guide. Heavy focus on layering, because the Foundry paint system was designed on layering by Kevin Dallimore, who is also the author of this book. So, without any further delay, the Foundry Miniatures Painting and Modeling Guide. This is a very progressive book. It has a nice progression to it in general, with plenty of inspirational photos. Some are for the more mature audience, like vampire boobs, but largely it's a painting book. It starts out by just discussing why maybe we get into the hobby, time periods, because this is focused more on historical and some science fiction miniatures. It's a good introduction. It's fairly lengthy, but it's good. Equipment, they use some oil paints, so of course they recommend thinners, little drawings of the right and wrong way to sit while painting, glue, paint palette, standard materials. None of these are going to be GW products because, well, Kevin Dallimore doesn't work for GW. So, it's your tool section, standard tool section. It's pretty in-depth, just like every other tools section of a how to paint book. Wider gray undercoat, black undercoat. He does just about everything in a black undercoat. I guess it just suits his style better. Take care of your brushes, right and wrong way to load your brush with paint, and into the good stuff, as I'll call it. Starts out, the Foundry system is a 3-color system. All of their paints are this color, and then the shade, and the highlight. Just about everything is a 3-color system, so you're not going to really get like superior Golden Demon quality models out of just using their paints in the 3-color method, but they still look fantastic, and are probably a hell of a lot faster to put out than some of the high-quality display miniatures that, well, even I would put out. So, this is the 1-color method, putting 1 coat of paint over each section. They use the same model for all 3 instances, the 1, the 2-color, and the 3-color method, and their step-by-steps are very thorough. Every single stage of the miniature. If you drop paint on it, he took a photo of it. It's fantastic. And it's not just that guy. They have this guy here, this little elf-looking vampire guy here, and a section on painting armor and shields with 1 color and some transfers. And then they zoom in pretty far on the photos so that you can see what they've come about. 2-color method, and so on and so forth. They start to add more detail to their models, of course, because now you're getting into the shade/highlight. They end again with the same model. What is this guy called? The Prussian. It's a Prussian Fusilier or something like that. I have no idea. There's a comparison here. This is the 1-color method. Sorry, this camera is bad for this, but it's the 1-color method here, and the 2-color method here. You can see that there's a great change in the amount of detail that they have between the 1 and 2-color, and there's an even bigger change with the 3-color. How to paint African flesh of various tones, actually, like this guy and this guy here are 2 different skin tones. They illustrate their entire Foundry range at the end, so maybe you can equate it to something GW has out or Vallejo has out, but either way, they show you how to paint African flesh, which is really nice. Romans freehand painting shield designs right here. This guy is naked, teehee, but we didn't always wear clothes as a human race. So again, painting faces, a detail on painting faces. This is not so much a step-by-step as it is to just tell you how they did it, and then there's some finished products up there. If you're painting, there are some models in the GW Lord of the Rings range that are Scottish in nature. How to paint plaid or tartan. Well, actually, it's technically tartan, but how to paint that. They give you a good overview on how to do that. How to paint all sorts of horses. This is a horse color chart for just about every kind of horse in physical existence. It's great. This involving oil washes and things like that. If you use strictly acrylic paints, then you're not really going to get a whole lot out of this, but if you're branching out into other paint styles, then it'll be good for you. Back to the Prussian again, the 3-color model. This one has a mustache, but you'll be able to see the difference on the next page, which I'll highlight again. There's the single color, there's the second color, there's the third color. There's a huge jump in quality there. 1 color, not so great. 2 color, good enough for tabletop for me. 3 color is at least what I would call Foundry display quality. And they do several things with various techniques on how to do this, that, and the other thing. Painting orcs with their foundation, how to paint confusing types of clothes. This is a big inspirational section, which goes on for some time. And masterclass tips. For some reason, Kevin does not like spears produced by plastic or metal model makers. So what he does is he takes paper clips and hammers them down into points and grinds them down and files them, and they look really nice. If you get this book, you'll be able to see it here. He does the same thing with swords. Not too big on his swords, but it's a master modeling technique. Wheels, how to paint gems here with gloss varnish, without gloss varnish. Darker flesh, bronze. This is a section done by other painters, not by Kevin Dallimore, explaining how they do certain techniques. So it's not all just him. This is about varnishing. I mean, I haven't memorized this book in thorough detail. Well, though I've read it like 4 or 5 times. This is the section. Guest painters. This is how some of his friends paint things like this is how to paint animal skins. This doesn't come into play a whole lot in Fantasy or 40K, but how to paint a lion, how to paint a tiger, how to paint a leopard. It's a very, very useful tutorial, and again, just like all the other stage by stages, it's very in-depth. Painting flesh and armor, how to paint iron, and the guy's skin as well. Another gallery by the next painter. How to paint zombie flesh. I believe it's how to paint zombie flesh. No, this is part of the gallery. Sorry. Conversions. Strung bows, green stuff. Just other conversions, head swaps. Lengthening gun barrels. This is a illustration of this. He explains what model he used here. From that, he came out with this. From this, he came out with that. From that, and so on and so forth. So you can see where the green stuff was used on the model. Small section on painting vehicles. He's not really big into that, and most of these are historical. It's my least favorite section of the book, but at least it has a vehicle painting section, which most of the others don't have. Scratch building a old Victorian police car. Painting buildings, which also other painting books don't have. And really, that kind of concludes it all. How to paint Judge Dredd, because the 2000 AD line is part of the Foundry line. Holmes and Watson, and then a little bit of their color information. This is a detailed breakdown of their color chart, and then just some promotional stuff for their products and decals and stuff like that. That is Foundry Miniatures Painting and Modeling Guide. Excellent book to pick up, especially if you do layering techniques a lot. I'm actually running low on time for this thing, so pick this book up, about $30. That's it. Have a good day.